The following episode of the Comics and Crypto podcast is for informational purposes only, and anything expressed by the hosts or their guests is solely their opinion. This podcast does not constitute financial advice, and anyone wishing to invest should seek their own independent financial or professional help. Have fun and enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Sean O'Hare, and I know comics.
Hi, I'm Spencer Vogel, and I know crypto.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lee Loader, and I don't know shit. This is the Comics and Crypto podcast.
Comics and crypto, crypto and comics, collectors world in a digital age. Comics and crypto, crypto and comics is where the next billionaires will be made. It's comics and crypto.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Very excited about today's episode. We are joined by Trevor Dietz, product manager of McFarlane Toys Digital. We're going to talk about some amazing stuff today, including basically an entire new platform that's built by McFarlane Toys.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, excited to share with you guys. I know you guys got a little bit of a sneak peek at it at a New York Comic Con with us. It was great to have you there, have you see
that was
the whole
amazing
dev team and all that. That's where you got to see me in my element where I'm just like, yes, look.
I know you, Kevin, Roth, Metaverse Life, we're nerding out really hard over the metrics and the animations. And thanks again for the invite, by the way. That was a blast. That was a really fun time.
No, and thank you for coming. Like, that was like that event. Like, it turned out like that was exactly what we wanted it to be in terms of smaller event, more intimate event, but really like a deep dive with like great partners and fans of what we're doing, so we can kind of show off what McFarlane is doing, obviously in the physical space, but also in the digital space for like the next year. So for us, that's really cool. And it's like, it's the best way to interact with the fan base. And like, also like when Todd was there, so you got to meet him in that context and that capacity. And that's a really special experience because it's like very rare that you get to like actually spend that time with him. So I'm happy that everybody got to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we dive into all the amazing details about McFarlane Toys Digital, tell us a little about yourself and your background. Are you a collector yourself? I don't know if they really talked about that.
You know, it's interesting. I'm not much of a collector. I've become more and more of a collector the more time I've spent working in industry. Yeah, not just in like this like digital collecting space, even before that in the games. Like, so like if I take you on a tour of my office over here, like I've got these figures. So this was like back when I worked at Riots, I got these. This is a Hecarim skin. This is the
that's awesome.
And then we got Darius. He's the Dunkmaster Darius. So it's like I got these figures. I didn't collect much. I can't believe I'm showing this off. This was not exciting. I didn't collect much when I worked at Sony, but they did give me this mug for God of War.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
God of War mug. That's not bad.
Yeah, and then this was the Myrmicornos from last year's Decon that we had, and
I remember that. I remember that.
So this was cool, and I should say like I gave a lot of the other boxes away that I had, and so this was the one Myrmicona because I had it, and I was like, it's cool, it's a memento of the thing, and then I'm doing the whole thing now, and then we got, and then this is now the new stuff. So Tom, so this is McFarlane Toys Doomslayer from Doom Eternal.
That's
so
awesome.
This is
I
love it. So this is one of like McFarlane has been around, and I'm sure we'll get into this, been around for 30 years, working with every IP under the sun in like every possible vertical. So gaming and a great, awesome IP. I mean, Doom's been around since like 95, 96.
Yeah.
And then we got the
that's so cool.
kind of big son up here, the like gold label Batman back here. So it's like,
oh wow,
as I start like getting into it, I find myself becoming more and more of a collector.
Yeah,
which is awesome. I mean, especially in this field, you know, you really understand the customers, right, or the people involved in the space. So it's really that's awesome.
And like that's part of it. It's like part of it's about knowing your customer, understanding what how they work, but it's also when you work on this stuff, you become a fan of it. Like, I think my favorite example is like when I was at Riot, and this is like crazy because Riot is known for like hiring people that are fans of League of Legends. But when I joined, I was like, I played it a couple times. I wasn't like really that into it, but in the process, when you're there all day, every day, you get indoctrinated and you become a fan. And it's now probably one of the most played games that I've ever worked on.
Speaking of what you've worked on, can you tell us about your background in Web3 and what's your journey been like in the space?
Yeah, so I guess before I got into Web3, I worked in the games industry. I worked at Riot Games for 3 years. I also worked at Sony on God of War Ragnarok, which excited that's coming out very soon too. Worked on that. So, I had the opportunity about almost 2 years ago now to work with VEVE and basically build their whole content production pipeline. So basically took them from no art team to a team of like 70 people across 5 studios making all the content. At least at the time, that was the size of the team. That I had like built and led. And so my role was basically working with the licensors, understanding what they wanted to do, figuring out what they thought, what they think good looks like with their brand, and then finding the right team and leading the development of an asset that would be the best like execution of their brand, at least on the VEVE platform. I am now working at McFarlane Toys. I get to take that even further. I'm still doing that, all that content development, working with all our licensors, understanding their needs, and working with our awesome dev team that we've built to make all this content and this platform. And so I'm leading that, but I also get to do the added stuff of like beyond content, actually, what does the platform do? How does the platform evolve? What is the marketplace? Like basically all facets of the digital collecting product that we're putting out there. So for me, it's really fun because I get to work on everything and touch everything that's being developed here. They've been like really good to me in terms of like, I have a lot of creative input. I would say they love hearing from the community. They love hearing from me referencing what the community is saying because they like exist to serve their fans. The whole company was founded on this premise of back in 1994 when it was founded. It's like physical toys at that time, like especially the action figure space, weren't very good. They were cheap. They were poorly made. They were low detail. And they were expensive. And they said it doesn't have to be this way. And they came in and they basically wrote the book on what high-end physical collecting is. And so now we're looking at the space now. We see a similar opportunity. And we want to do that again in the digital space.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember as a kid looking at like McFarlane Toys and just seeing the qualities of those, which just blow my mind. Man, I love that stuff. So why has McFarlane Toys decided to go digital? And what is the McFarlane digital platform?
Yeah, so I think the main thing for us is, first of all, like this opportunity has presented itself in the form of both the Web3 tech and accessibility to high-end rendering. Ultimately, this idea of like NFTs and its ability to capture that true rarity, permanence, ownability of something in the physical world in the digital space and a technology that actually allows for that is really interesting. However, like what we really believe is like the application of that technology is like the technology is just the technology, and it's about how good the product is that you build on top of it. And so for us, that's about how do we do something that meets like the quality standard that we've established so that we can really like meet or even exceed the expectations of our physical collectors who are looking to get into like the digital space. There are obvious benefits to collecting digitally over physical. Number one, infinite space. The idea that you never run out of space to put your collection. This is just a huge problem that physical collectors have, is at some point you just ran out of square footage in your home to put this stuff. So that's like an immediate and pretty obvious problem. Another one is physical collecting. You don't really play with your collection in the same way. Yeah, there's a play pattern in the sense of collecting the stuff, curating it, putting it on the shelves, but you don't get to like play with it in a way like when you were a kid. Like it's not like you don't use it as an action figure in the way you used to. You're worried about damaging it. This solves that problem. Like you can actually play with these pieces. We can build experience around it. It's easier to share your collection because it's all online. It's all social. Anybody can see it, but you still maintain that ownership of it. The whole experience can be gamified. You can be rewarded for engaging in your collection and sharing it and all the actions you would do around having a collection. And those rewards can feed in to expanding and growing your collection. That's, again, not really something that you can do in the physical space. And then there's so much more that we're like just beginning to unpack and discover as we're building this, as we're talking with the community. And that's like really what we want to bring forward and like bring into the space with what we're doing.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about it is like essentially you can even have like animations with these toys with the collectibles and stuff like that you can't have as a kid. You have to imagine that. But this time it's real.
Yeah, it's like we can build like all that kind of stuff can be like built into the experience of collecting these. That's what like really is inspiring and like drives us around this. And also beyond just the physical collectible like platforms and like what the technology affords us to be able to do. There's a whole new community here. There's a whole new audience that's built up that's discovering collecting through this technology. And as a business, you're trying to expand your audience, expand your reach, and expand your fan base. That's really exciting as well, of course. But it's also about treating it and doing it authentically to that new fan base, but also as well to our existing fan base in terms of showing, look, we made something. It's really high quality. It's to that same quality standard that you expect from us. We're doing it at a really reasonable price so that the value is really high and we're offering a lot of value to you as the customer. All that is like very important to us in this platform.
So how will you be integrating the McFarlane Toys physical collectibles into this platform?
Yeah, so we are going to do drops with this platform in a bunch of different ways. So I think probably the most obvious is we will be having drops that are basically a bundled physical piece with the digital collectibles. So
Nice.
there will be certain pieces that we'll be releasing where when it comes out, you will get the digital along with it. And it's basically pack in with the physical. We'll also be doing releases where it's like, we'll have a physical piece and a digital piece sold separately, but at the same price point, releasing on the same day at the same time. It's really exciting because we can do stuff like playing around with some of the collecting experience on the physical side and enhancing it on the digital side. Like one thing we're really excited about is like pre-orders, because what we can do is we have people who pre-order our physical pieces, but you have to pre-order and then wait a couple months before the digital shows up. Maybe this is an opportunity for us to say, here's the digital now. You can play with it while you wait for the physical.
Yeah.
So that's another thing we can do with it. And then the third component of this is we will be doing like digital only releases, but that's going to be looking at like our legacy pieces. Again, 30-year history of content. What can we do to bring that forward? We never like remanufacture an old piece and bring it forward. It's like it has its manufacturing run and then it's done and we move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
This is an interesting way for us to bring back old classic McFarlane pieces, is digital only pieces in a new way. So we're excited about that as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Have you guys thought about doing like authentic digital signatures on the blockchain? I know that Fuzz done some stuff with Oddkey. I don't know if those signatures are actually authentic or not, if they're on the blockchain, but having signatures attached to those could be a really cool opportunity.
I won't make any promises about it, but we have had a lot of discussions around it. It is something really exciting to us. And it's one of those things that also like, it can go, when you go into digital, you can animate it. So it's like, it could be more than just slapping the signature on.
That's
You
right.
can watch the signature get written in
that's actually cool.
around onto the piece or something. So there's more authenticity that comes with that as well. These are things that are exciting us. I don't want to make that promise like we're going to do that.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely, we have these discussions. I mean, we're as excited about this as the audiences and things like that.
I know.
Like, wouldn't it be cool if like we have those kind of brainstorming sessions all the time?
I love to hear that because you see it from the top. I mean, I've been fortunate to go to 2 events and actually had a chance to talk to Todd at both events, both the Oddkey event. Big shout out to Oddkey and McFarlane Toys because of you. And that guy is just so genuine and so curious. He's so curious. He loves talking to people. He just goes up and talks to everybody. He's just a wonderful person. He just starts from the top and it shows in his product.
Yeah, no, he's great. And the whole team is great. And like working with everybody on it, because it's like, it's also like, it's a fun thing to work on. Like, as you can imagine, like the thing that gets me so excited, I got into like originally to the games industry because I was passionate about games. And I was always passionate about it from the way of like, oh, I wonder how they built this. Like my fandom usually manifests in, I get excited about how things are made as opposed to like deep diving on like the thing itself. I'm more interested in like behind the scenes featurettes on like the special effects team that was building like a movie that I love, as opposed to like going into the lore of the movie. Like that's when I get excited about. Anyway.
I love watching behind the scenes stuff as well. Obviously, The Lord of the Rings has some of the best. You're just like immersed in that for like 12 hours.
They basically walk you through the entire development.
Yeah.
Like
literally.
It's like nothing's left to the event. Like they show everything. It's as long as the movie.
It's one of those inspiring things I've ever seen. It was wonderful.
Yeah. And what's been really interesting is watching these development technologies in the gaming space, Unreal Engine, Unity, and a number of others, starting to find their way into film production because the technology is so good in real time. Real-time rendering is now looks so good across all these platforms that you can actually use it to generate backdrops and film against it, which is and there are whole sound stages now built to film against basically gigantic film screens as opposed to green screen, because it puts the actors in the world more. That light from that scene casts light onto the actors that's natural to what that scene would be, because obviously it's projected. So it fits better. It's better than green screen in that sense. And it's very cool to see that the technology has gotten to that point. And that's not that was not originally film technology, it was game technology that's now being used in that way.
And I can't wait to see all this get integrated into the metaverse and all that.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Well,
exciting.
and that's where the other half of this that I'm talking about, it's beyond just the Web3 technology that's interesting. It's the rendering tech and the idea that hardware and software that's available to everybody is now powerful enough to start rendering this stuff at a really high quality bar. Even mobile is starting to look pretty good, but like our focus with this platform, at least at launch, is going to be PC based platforms. And the reason for that is specifically how hard can we push this graphically. This is the kind of machine like we've built. This is the kind of platform where we built it in a way that it runs on low and mid spec PCs as well. But if you have like a high spec PC with like if you have a pretty beefy computer and you run this on, you'll notice it and you'll see like the level of detail that you can get into with these pieces. That's something that gets me really excited, especially coming from a AAA games background. Like I love when we get to do that like really bleeding edge like rendering tech shit.
Yeah.
So bringing that into here is really fun. And it's totally new to the space too. Nobody's building stuff like this yet. And I think that's exciting for us because it also differentiates us.
Will you guys be launching other IPs on the platform or just Todd's work at the moment?
As McFarlane Toys, we have access to a ton of IP in all these different verticals. I don't want to speak to, once we get to specific IPs that we're going to be launching in the future, we've announced our first drop is going to be the Spawn characters. So I'm very excited about that. So we got Spawn, Redeemer, and the Clown are going to be the first pieces that we drop. And again, I can't get into specifics about other IP, but what I can point to is if you look at our website and you can look at our history and see all the different IP that we've worked with across I think probably most of them for superhero content, but everything from gaming IP, traditional film IP, animation IP, anime, sports. We have like all the big four sports leagues.
Oh man.
And even stuff that's like not even appeared in the collectibles, so like music IP as well. So there's a lot of stuff here that we have to work with. And it's not just stuff we're doing now, it's stuff from 30 years ago up until now. So this massive content library that we get to bring forward.
And so many relationships too that you guys have already been able to bring to this. It's amazing.
The teams that are helping us build this content are basically a who's who of like AAA art and content developers from like every like AAA game you can imagine. The teams worked with Riot, worked with Sony, worked with EA, has worked on numerous Call of Duty games, top tier first party exclusives for Sony and Microsoft, games that are really pushing things graphically, because those are the kinds of teams we want to go to build this kind of content so it looks as good as possible. The pieces, the way that we're doing it is basically you will get the pieces through there's going to be McFarlane Toys Digital is the name of the marketplace. That's what's provided by Rarible. So you purchase them there, and they go to your custodial wallet, so you have custody over the pieces. The representation in the wallet is going to be high-res imagery of the pieces, and the reason for that is we can't, quite frankly, 3D files, GLBs just are not good enough. So for us, we're doing like really high-end renders. That's how you'll show it off in the wallet. That's what you can take anywhere, but you can also then connect that wallet to this app, and that app starting on PC first, connect it to there, and that's where it sees the pieces in your wallet and serves you that, so you can put them in your scene and build awesome content with them. And again, really pushing the quality bar on that. I guess touching on the collectibles, these pieces like hundreds of thousands of polygons, 4K textures, all across the board, rendering and mapping technologies on them, really trying to use all the like wherever we can, wherever it's appropriate for the PC, really using whatever's the cutting edge in terms of like real-time rendering technologies. And then the room itself as well is built to that same standard. And the whole thing is running our engine that's running this is Unity HDRP, which is one of the standards for really high-end AAA games in the space. And we chose that engine because not only could it really push the graphical quality as far as it can, but because it's Unity, it's easier in the future for us to scale it to other platforms.
And we have an upcoming drop.
Yes. So I guess the specifics on that are our first drop is this Spawn drop, and that's going to be done they called it the buy to earn program, but for us it's like basically connecting physical purchases to a digital reward for making those purchases. So throughout the month of November, if you spend over $100 on the McFarlane Toys Store website and use the code digital at checkout, you will get access to our first drop while supplies last, and you get it for free. So basically you spend that and you'll get one random collectible from this first drop for free for that purchase on the physical toy store side. On top of that, if you are one of our top 500 spenders during the month of November, you will get 3 random collectibles for free from that collection.
Oh,
Wow.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
We will have specifics of that coming very soon.
Before we end this video, McFarlane Toys wanted to let our viewers know that they are providing a special discount for the first ever McFarlane Toys NFTs. If you spend $100 at McFarlaneToysDigital.com and use promo Digital Comics, you will receive your first Spawn NFT for free, as well as saving 5% off your purchase. If you spend $300 at McFarlaneToysDigital.com and use promo SuperFanComics, you will receive 3 Spawn NFTs, Spawn, Redeemer, and Clown for free, as well as saving 5% off your purchase. So if you're trying to find the perfect holiday gift for your friend or family member, then look no further. This deal is the perfect choice for any comic book fan. Stop by McFarlaneToysDigital.com today.
We know where the value is in collecting, and that we know the importance of rarity, and we also know the importance of giving all our pieces room to breathe. So our design for the system is that we have a release cadence, and this will really kick off more like January in 2023, but you'll see drops basically every 2 weeks. And we're really trying to go for 5,000 mints for the whole collection, whatever is dropping. So in the case for basically the drop goes live, the viewer app goes live, so you'll be able to download the application, connect your wallet, and start playing around with it from day one with the collectibles.
So be on the lookout for more news upcoming from McFarlane Toys Digital. And where should people go to follow for the most up-to-date news on this drop?
I think so. We'll the McFarlane Toys Twitter account. I would say that's definitely like #1 place to go to. You can follow me at Built by Trevor on Twitter as well. And then the website, will be constantly updating the website. And I believe also now that, because I was talking about it with the team, so we'll be in the Instagram our Instagram feeds and some of our other socials will start having this content as well. So yeah, we're going to be broadcasting it as widely as we can. But yeah, follow the channels, especially on Twitter, and also join our Discord, because we'll be sharing information in there too. And also building that community. Like that's where we want that to be like a big home and like a hub of this space.
Perfect.
Awesome.
And we'll make sure to include the links down below in the details, guys. So just look down below the details and you'll get all that information down below. And also we're doing a giveaway as well.
Yes.
Yep.
I guess at least whitelist spots at this point. I know we were talking about other stuff as well. So, but yeah, starting with whitelist spots. So very excited about that.
Yeah, so keep on the lookout on both of our accounts for that giveaway as well, which I'm very, very excited about. Trevor, it was so amazing to have you on today, man. I'm very excited for this drop. And everyone, make sure to follow Trevor at Built by Trevor on Twitter, and also McFarlane Toys Digital. We'll keep you all posted on the details for this drop. And as always, thanks again for joining. We'll see you on the next one.